Hey everybody, welcome to a Golden Age comic review. Today we're looking at Mystery Funnies number 15, featuring the doe-sized story with the Phantom of the Fair. And this is the last time the Phantom of the Fair would wear his original costume, as after this the Phantom of the Fair would leave the fair and switch to a new costume. So the first story involves the Phantom of the Fair. Now this is set in the 1939 World's Fair, I believe. So it's very possible this robot is supposed to be based on, I think, Electro, who I think was debuted at that fair. It could be a different fair. I might be mistaken there. So that robot may be based on him. Now we jump into the battle midpoint, so we don't know why this robot went rampaging and is killing people and why it's so advanced. We later find out that this man here is controlling the robot. We don't know why he's doing it or anything, it just kind of happens. And then the other Phantom kind of kills him, so we never find out why. The Phantom saves people, but we never find out why this guy had decided that this robot was going to go on a murdering rampage. And then the next story is Daredevil Barry Finn. I guess it's some sort of secret agent type character. You got a couple girls fighting over him, and they end up two rival girls. Sort of almost Betty and Veronica type aesthetic going on. End up teaming up to stop a female foreign agent from stealing valuable papers. This gal right here. And by the end of the story, the two girls are like best friends. Okay, the Inner Circle is essentially about this, I guess, this crime organization. And a news agent trying to stop him. I don't know if this was a continuing story or just a one-off story. This is the first time I've really read Mystic Funnies. So I couldn't tell you if this was a continuing story or something that was just a one-off. Then we have Don Hickson, who I guess was some sort of futuristic character. This seems to be like the tail end of the story, as they, rescue the good princess, save her, and then she puts the whammy on the bad one, and it essentially sets up the next adventure. Then we have a futuristic train story. And then we're introduced to John Linton, the flying scientist adventurer. And that story is set in 2009, which I guess for them would have been the far future. And he goes to investigate some missing space planes. We find out there's this, I believe it's like a mad scientist. I think, yeah. Satan Rex, who wants to destroy the Earth by halting the orbiter path and driving it into the sun. Then we get the big star, Speed Centaur, who his big story is he defeated a bunch of After an earthquake destroyed the Alaskan islands, a strange creature is found of old, trapped and brought up in the ways of man. He is Speed Centaur, swift, courageous, and strong. All things combined, a man of horse arrives after Trapper's deaths. Centaur leaves the north to seek the strange world of man. Essentially, he's kind of half horse, half man, half Captain America. He's a man of time, but decides he is going to fight crime. Yeah, a mythical Greek centaur in modern times who decides he's going to fight gangsters. Apparently, last issue he took down a bunch of them, and now he's going to get his friend Reels to get more to lure more to his caves so we can essentially beat them. And the story essentially ends with him basically beating them. He seems to have super strength, super speed, and I guess he can. Being an Alaska-based hero, he can stand the cold very well. Overall, I give it a 5 out of 5. Good comic, but the two stories you really came for are probably The Phantom of the Fair and Speed Centaur. The other ones are just okay. John Litton is one of the other ones I came but like I said, the real headliners are Speed Centaur and The Phantom of the Fair. Okay, I give it a 5 out of 5. I enjoyed it, but if you want to read this yourself, Digital Comic Museum had this up. Look in Centaur Comics. Go to Amazing Mystery Funnies number 15. And you can go from there. The Phantom of the Fair, I think most of his stories are set in the fair, but after issue 15, he leaves the fair for a while and goes on adventures outside of the fair until the fair reopens. And like I said, I think it's the 1939 World's Fair. I could be wrong. So most of his adventures are set during the fair, but then he leaves the fair for a while. Then when the fair reopens, he comes back with a different costume. I think his last adventure involves a rogue baseball team. Yeah. Weird stuff. Alright. Until next time, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon if you're new, and I hope you enjoyed this Golden Age comic review. After this, I'll try and do some different stuff. Maybe get out of the 90s and World War II era. Maybe do some stuff from the 80s and other eras. I'm still working on doing some catch-up reading and a few other things. Until then, later days.